Joyful Christian Hermit. Well, our electricity's been out since, I'm not sure, maybe 4 o'clock. I don't know. I didn't notice. Maybe 5, maybe 6. Anyway, they said it'd be back on by 9:20. Now they're saying 11. But the doggies got their food. There was still some hot water in the hot water heater to make at least warm for them, since they get such good treatment. But I'm eating watermelon. Have to wait to see. I have chicken soup, but I want to heat it up. Oh, no big deal if I don't get it. But I'm coming around to things. I did a video, and of course I can't get that to. I don't think I can get it to go on. It was my internet was my laptop was connected with my phone for a while, but now it's not. So, but I have finally, even after the video, if I get the video, when the electricity comes back on, I'll get the video posted. But just going through, the whole dilemma and things and conversations, talking aloud, working through it. This has really been the most difficult situation of my existence in a way. But I'm finally coming around to being able to forgive the ER doctors and the ICU nurses, except the one didn't need, she was nice, and the one doctor who did come and apologize to me the next morning. But, of course, it's up to them with God, and I doubt they even would ever admit or recognize, some of them, most of them, that they had done very, very wrong, and could have killed me. And I don't know, at some point, maybe I did die, but it wasn't like before. I didn't meet with God if I did, and it would have been just, temporary. But I know I was unconscious for hours and hours, off and on with the Narcan. The Narcan was what sort of, it will make your blood pressure go up and sort of make you more alert. For me, it was just for maybe a minute or two that I had, probably just a minute, because I was begging, talking, explaining what I had, and it was my gut, gut attack, distended out, trying to explain. But I think I can forgive them. It's definitely one of those, Father, forgive them, for they knew not what they were doing, and they did not. They honestly did not know what they were doing. Barking up a wrong tree totally with someone who was near death. My blood pressure was so terrible, and I was unconscious the bulk of the time, all but 3 times when I was briefly conscious, so a minute or two. So anyway, it's hard. I mean, it's up to them with God, but I am coming to the point that I can forgive them. It's necessary. It's necessary in order to move on. I also realize, and I mentioned this in the video, that my main issues with leaving here has been that I had such a strong goal, and I just kept at it and building up my body, working to turn this house around, to be able to have money for my end-of-life care, my nursing home care, if I would need it, because I figured I would, and I think I probably will. But I also realize, and I just trying to get my daughter to just say, because my grandson said this is a big part of it, she really, really wants to live in here. Who wouldn't? They are 47 years old. She and her fiance are 2 weeks apart. And, and when my grandson's there, although he's going to live on campus, so he is not going to be there, so just be the 2 of them. But it is small, it is dark, but it's very convenient, very close to their work. And she will find it won't be the upkeep. See, I'm not as fastidious, but the younger set, and maybe older people too, but I have been in situations like the island place, where I had to learn to let go. And I had to learn actually way back 41 years ago with my pain and 3 kids. And I used to worry, my eldest daughter, when she was in, I think, 3rd grade, was refusing. I was a single mom. Maybe 4th grade. She just was refusing to put clean socks on to go to school in. And I was so frustrated, and I talked it over with Dr. H, and he said, well, has the school called? Has the teacher called to complain of the odor or something? And I said, well, no. And he says, well, do you smell it? Is it that terrible that, I said, no. And he says, you have to pick and choose what's important and what isn't. He says, you are wearing yourself out battling these things. When you have enough, because I had terrible pain then, that would have been a year after the accident. I'd already had a year of pain. My back hadn't totaled yet. That happened not quite 3 years after the accident, where I totaled and had to crash on the classroom floor I was in. Last 2 periods of the day, they walked in with me on the floor, and I said, you just have to do the assignments on the board and then just do silent reading. Please be as quiet as you can, because I'm in terrible pain and, my back's gone out. They knew I had a bad back. I'd miss school for it. But, of course, that principal didn't believe that I had a bad back. I just get the craziest situations in life, the craziest ones, because, see, I would look okay, and sometimes I would be able to overcome the pain and do more than others. It just, God has always been so close with me and me with God, that he would do me little favors at times when I would need. But it didn't change the fact that my spine was seriously damaged. I had needed surgery after the accident. It wasn't, but it just got worse and worse. The pain did, because I couldn't stop. I had more and more responsibility, but I had to learn that things had to be let go. The kids would put their own clothes on. Sometimes wouldn't be how I would address them. I'd have to let their haircuts go. I would be too exhausted after teaching all day and getting them home, and the baby from the daycare, and change his diapers, and just to go get their haircuts would be another thing, and maybe on Saturday morning. But it's just, they wanted to go to this place called Betty's, a little diner, and get breakfast on Saturday morning. And she'd put she figured out, newly single mom, she could tell. And she would Betty was an older woman who owned this little diner. She would come along and top off the kids' hot chocolate with extra whipped cream, like 2 or 3 times she would do it. They loved Betty, and they loved going there. That was a tradition. The Saturday after school, or even if school stopped on whatever day. Usually I'd have to go another day, but I would take them to Betty's as the big end of year celebration too. But so lots of good memories. Anyway, I'm working through all this, and I realize my big reason for not wanting to. I didn't want to stop my goal. I wanted to be able to finish. And you just can't always do that. I had to face this today, and it's okay. And then I came to the point where I could help finish it. I wouldn't live here, but I could help. I could help my daughter and her fiance and the grandson if he wanted to help. I could show them how to use my tools and work with them. I can bend. Bending seems okay for me, not for long, but I could certainly screw in the subfloor in here, the underlayment floor, and show them how to lay the LVP. I have the equipment for it. I know how to do it. It's not hard. I've got my table saw and my other saw just right outside this bedroom door. So I can help them finish it, and then they can live in here. And it will be that I have accomplished a goal. And part of my goal to finish it was I always try to finish goals that I start. I finished my doctorate after the surgery where I back in 87, even though I knew I would never be able to use it. I would never be in a school administration. It was over for me. But I wanted to finish that doctorate. I wanted my parents to be proud of me, and I wanted it to be for my children also, to have some pride in their mother. And they were, when my son was little, he'd say, "Oh, my mom's a doctor," and I'd explain, well, it's an education doctor, it's a professional doctor, it's not a medical doctor, but he still liked that, my mom, the doctor. Until somebody really put it down when he was a freshman in college and negated a doctorate from USC, which was a very difficult doctorate, but said, "Oh, well, in education, it's not really anything important." And he was so upset. And I said, "Well, you tell them, do they know anyone who got their doctorate in ed administration from USC?" I said it was hard to get in there, and it was very difficult. Lots of high standards. So, just people do things like that, though. I think there's a lot of wrong, of people doing negatives to others. And I didn't need to have that recognition whatsoever. And I never go by that title. Now, people that I know who know all the work I did, they give me that honor. I'm very thankful to them because they recognize all that I studied and did, while at the same time working, teaching, and finishing up, going through a divorce, and taking care of 3 children. So no, it was no small feat. And I graduated with high honors. So it was, but people will be people, and they will negate whatever they want to negate. And, but no, it's not a medical degree, not whatever. I would never say that. And my kids knew exactly what it was, but my son didn't realize that other people would demean a doctorate in education administration, organizational leadership. It depends on what school you go to. So my grandson and I were talking about that today, where he wants to get his master's, wants to go to a school that has a lot of reputation to help him then get into a good doctoral program at some point. So it's not a big deal, but it's, I think, for us, how we treat other people too, to not put other people down, to try to build ourselves up, or just put down in general. So I've come to a forgiveness of the ER doctors. I recognize that my pain is way high. Later this afternoon, I finally had to take a breakthrough pain med. I'd been in bed all day, except taking the dogs out. And I wasn't doing well. My mind, my attitude, starting to get very down and unable to do anything. Even if I wanted to, clear up some things in here. So I thought, this is ridiculous. I have not had an increase in pain meds in 2 years, and they are low level, especially for having arachnoiditis. And my neck is severe as it is, and now my thoracic spine ruined, made worse by those ER doctors, what they did. So, and maybe it will get better. God can do anything. God can do anything. it's really, my pain doctor said it's remarkable on what low dose of pain medication I've been on for 2 years. And remarkable that I didn't need more. Well, I certainly could have used more, but I got it out. I pushed my body. Now I cannot. So we're going to have to make some adjustments and figure out, I don't know where I can get watermelon in the winter, but watermelon is doing the trick. I've had 2 blockages already on 3 days apart, and I never realized just how quickly. But since my intestines are more messed up now, and my lower intestines are not working, so I can feel it faster and more sensitive to it. So I was going for a much longer time, and it wasn't getting cleared out nearly as much. So probably still in 6 weeks or 8 weeks maybe now I could have a gut attack. But I ate 3 bowls of watermelon one night, and then was it yesterday? Yeah. And this morning I got up and had a big bowl, and it did it. It helped, because that's what it says when you look up watermelon and intestines online. It'll say that it gives the best kind of hydration you can have. It's very low in fiber, so it's not creating a lot of bulk itself, hardly any. Yes, I don't know why, it's maybe 3, not a high percent at all. I forget the percentage. Don't want to say the wrong thing. But, and it says that the aspects in the watermelon, in the red juices, something in the watermelon itself, in the red part, will help move through and actually break up blockages. So watermelon is my friend, and it's better eating that and having whatever other health issues, I'm going to have to trust God to protect me, than to suffer and die from a blockage or go through what all they did to me in the ER. All that medicine and the seizures, and that was not good on my body. The low blood pressure can do terrible. I didn't mention this, I did have a severe kidney failure, called it a severe kidney injury at one point, but it resolved itself. It turned around, but they called it a severe or extreme kidney shutdown or something. I forget what they exactly said, but they said it was very severe injury. And that was from, anyway, so I'll see if this little video will post to let you know I'm here and in bed all day, except this evening. I was able to go out and water. Of course, took the dogs out during the day, but I'm feeling better, and I'm feeling better about the sacrifice of this place, and you'll hear in the video, I found some lurking attachments that I didn't know I had, and they're not the typical kinds of attachments we think of. That's why they were lurking, and I didn't recognize them, but I sure recognize them now. Attachments come in all shapes and types and sizes. So, and true detachment is not just being rid of things or letting go. It's when you can let go, but also have. And when you have, it doesn't matter to you. See, that's true detachment. Only one part of detachment is letting go of things. Like back in 1999, I cleared out my place. I talk about that in the bigger video you'll have. I'm going to make this short. So God bless everyone, and hoping I can get some of my healthy chicken black rice and carrots and lots of celery and onion and broth, chicken broth, and my herbs from the garden. I hope that I can eat that later. It just doesn't sound appealing at all to eat it cold with bits of grease and stuff in globules on it. So we'll stick with what I've got. And I have a hard cooked egg. I could have that. So I've got food. I've got plenty of stuff. But as of tonight, things are doing much better in my mind and heart and my soul. And when the electricity comes back on and the longer video posts, it has various things in it of thoughts, things to think through and deal with when we're making major decisions and shifts and things that I found out. My grandson came. We had a little gaga grandson heart to heart where he leveled with me on things that he knows. And so my vibes were right. But I don't blame the daughter. People cannot even recognize that they aren't realizing themselves what they want and how much they want it and what the motive is. That it isn't all, there's always more to it, to things, in all decisions. So, and that's the same when we get older. But for a hermit and someone who's my age, and God has blessed me with a beautiful spiritual life, more is expected of me. And this is the next step. He doesn't care as much about me finishing this and finishing my goal. He knows I can do it. I mean, I finished one that was far, far worse off. This is he wants me doing something else for him. And for that, all the distraction and the time spent on working on this is not what he wants. And then and my back won't stand it anymore. He allowed this to happen. So I just have to keep on that focus and keep another big focus that I talk about, and that it's for all of us, but not at all times. It's not wrong to have a home or to have a lovely home. It's not wrong. When we are truly detached, what we have won't matter. But we need to go through a process first of knowing that we can detach and detaching. Otherwise, we're just sort of blowing smoke. If we say, well, I've got this lovely home, but I'm not really attached to it, until you give it up or it burns down or something like that, do you find out if you were attached or not to it. Then once you find out that you're not really attached, you've let it go of your own volition, sold it, whatever, I kept having to move and move when I get something finished, all finished, God would have it, so I'd have to leave. And it was all testing me. And, but I was always in those other places, I had finished goals. And they were lovely and, saleable and all of that. This time, but it doesn't have to be. Family member wants it. So, and it's going to roll over from my trust anyway. So this is a different situation that God wanted me to realize and to see other attachments that I have that I would not have thought of as attachments, but indeed they are. So I gotta let go of those. So God bless you all, and have a beautiful evening. The candles and and the doggies will be saying prayers for all of you and for your intentions. I hope that Francie Ray's daughter Katie is doing better, and many other prayer intentions have been asked. And I haven't heard from Father Vincent, but I'm praying that his sister is getting medication and that it's working, and that she'll be able to live a functioning life. We never know when we get illnesses that are hard to conquer, and we keep trying different things and nothing is working. Of course, we need to keep trying, but I think it's good to consider and ask God, Lord, are you asking me be a victim soul of your secret heart? Are you calling me to suffer more than the norm? It's fair to ask God when things keep going in a direction that is very difficult to understand why or what he wants. All right, have a beautiful evening or morning wherever you are in the whole wide world. And God bless you all. And God take care of you and help you prosper in all ways, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.